is the angriest color of all. Yellow. Yellow has not always been here, but it's never going to leave. Yellow will always go against who evokes it for the wrong cause. Yellow has always been an agreement between man and land. Work the land properly, and you will have yellow abundance. Abuse it, and you will pay. Maybe not you personally, because in nature, things never get that personal. Maybe the whole neighborhood community will suffer. The whole village will be punished. The whole country. It's hard to know where the rage of yellow is going to aim at. But one thing you can be sure, you will be in a state of delirium the whole time. You will even believe that some other colors existed at some point. And that this bitterness in your mouth was once sweet. But yellow will surely make you see in what side of the story you are. Even if you think that you have nothing to do with this story, you may. Because yellow fever, this old-fashioned disease, is back. If I had to explain what sugar craving is for someone that had never had sugar, I'd say, imagine that before you were born, you knew what sweetness was. And then, when you had your mother's milk, you had the real experience of sweetness and thought, this is good. But then you grew old and stopped having your mother's milk. You don't actually miss it, but you miss the sweetness and the comfort that surrounds it. So you're taken by nostalgia and you want to go back in time. Maybe more back than that. maybe with some more reverence. Oh my God, how did a plant manage to replace the breasts of our mothers? The Kayapa people is the Amerindian people that came from the sky. They're dancing, renovating their votes to the cassava root, one of the yellow foods that have built their nation. Alongside corn, that is Kayapa's myth of creation. Corn gave them the power to multiply all around the north and midwest of Brazil. They have to constantly remember and renovate their agreements with yellow and with Bep Kororoti, an entity that communicates with bees and brings them honey. It is right when the enslavement of Amerindians reached its peak in the mid-1600s, when the whole coast of Brazil is taken by sugar plantations, that another yellow food becomes extremely popular in the Portuguese Empire. Desserts made by priests and nuns with sugar from the colonies. Sugar of Amerindian and African slave labor. And the names of these desserts? Bacon from heaven, the Celestials, widows, anger, and ambrosia, the food of the gods. These holy desserts calmed down the guilt inside of the believer's heart. It made them forget that these delights from heaven were made at the expense of someone's flesh. Such use of the land and slaves to make empty, yellow foods with misleading, sarcastic names to confuse the minds, however, will not be forgotten by Yellow. Yellow will use the tools of the empire against itself. The angry color was present when the black and white mosquitoes that came in the slave ships found the American sugar plantations. These mosquitoes fed madly on thousands of clay pots that were curing raw sugar syrup. The constant coming of non-immune new people to the Americas and ships filled with water and poorly drained cities made colonial Latin America the perfect environment for yellow fever. At first, nobody knew that the mosquitoes were to blame. Christians believed in the fever hand, in miasma, in fantastic microbes. Mosquitoes were yellow fever's secret army. And that's how, through disease, death, and misery, yellow managed to contain a situation that could get even more out of control. If the tropics really promised to be a disease-free paradise on Earth, How appealing that wouldn't be to live with this thick nature, the warm climate, the Mameluca women and men. Not, not only discovering the link between mosquitoes and disease did not solve the problem of acclimatizing cold country people in the tropics, but also it killed these romantic tropical dreams once and for all.
Pokoknya komeng bukannya yang wala yang pun mereka no puni mereka pun
What is it to be indigenous in Brazil? Certainly, it is not to deprive yourself from media or motorboats. But for sure, it entails to resist and to have specific codes of relationship with the environment that are dramatically different from the ones of the non-indigenous. To maintain these codes with the trees, rivers, animals, entities, and themselves, Amerindians had to run to survive, run inland, because the coast was yellow fever, slavery, this new god with this new music. some people of the forest forget a few things in this rearrangement of plants, religion, and music taste, yellow never forgets. The damage of yellow fever was steady during the reign of 3 Brazilian kings. Because of course, nothing had changed environmentally wise. So the mosquito army just kept on killing. Yellow did had a thing for foreign musicians of the highest talent. Yellow fever killed pianist Louis Moreau Gottschalk from Louisiana in the mid-1900s. This American musician became a sensation in Rio de Janeiro. Louis died during a piano concert in that city. Even more dramatic is the story of the Italian opera company that came to Rio in the same period. More than 10 members of that crew died, but the star of the group, Rosine Stoltz, remained and sang solo in a smaller theater. This is probably just the surface of what was actually happening deep in the forests, more specifically on the treetops. Yellow has stored its fever in the body of a marvelous mosquito called Sabethes. These treetop mosquitoes guarantee that viruses like Zika, yellow fever, or dengue will never disappear because they are deeply safe inside of the body of the monkeys. This beautiful forest archivist makes sure that yellow will always have its warfare.
Tamo junto, Bolsonaro, 100% Brasil. Bolsonaro é norte, Bolsonaro é nordeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é sul, é sudeste, centro-oeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é norte, Bolsonaro é nordeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é sul, é sudeste, centro-oeste. Vai 17, vai 17. O Brasil é 100% Bolsonaro. O homem que une o Brasil. Lula mentiu, Dedé roubou. Treme comunista, o gigante levantou. Lula mentiu, Dedé roubou. Treme comunista, o gigante levantou. Tamo junto, Bolsonaro, 100% Brasil. Bolsonaro é norte, Bolsonaro é nordeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é sul, é sudeste, centro-oeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é norte, Bolsonaro é nordeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é sul, é sudeste, centro-oeste. Vai 17, vai 17. Bolsonaro é norte, Bolsonaro é nordeste. Vai 17, vai 17.
Okay, you got the message. These people support this person called Bolsonaro. His number is 17, and they want him all around the country. And his color is yellow. Something sounds very, very wrong here. Okay, let's try to understand where we are at. Bolsonaro is the far-right candidate, now president of Brazil, that envisions a lot of achievements, among them revoking the historical rights of Amerindians and mining the Amazon. And right when the right-wing Brazilians were pulling out this tropical Stalinist-style video, all wearing yellow, yellow fever came back, almost like a curse. Yes, this old colonial disease is back in Brazil. Now, I wonder what yellow wants to say through the contemporary fever. We may think that yellow is punishing the country again for insisting on planting the wrong plants or treating them the wrong way. Maybe there are modern kinds of slavery towards which we are still being too tolerant. But, of course, yellow prefers the most unexpected turnouts and non-obvious links. So yes, keep on fearing and respecting this color, because in your hallucination, you might mistake the bitter taste of a dead yellow leaf for the sweet taste of sugar. Thank you. There is still an ending. There is an epilogue, please. Please pay attention, because there is an epilogue.